Welcome to your 30-minute restorative yoga. Our focus for today is hamstrings, and more hamstrings. So just as always, taking everything at your own pace and easing your way into these stretches. So over time, your flexibility will develop, but nothing good will ever come from forcing the body into positions that it's just not ready for. So lots of modifications will be offered, and just find the one that feels best for you. Let's begin with hands resting on the back of the knees and settling into this moment by consciously arriving fully in our bodies and consciously cultivating connection to our breathing. So breathing in and out only through our nose. And as we inhale, we do so slowly and deeply. And as we exhale, making our exhalation just a tiny bit longer than our inhalation. So the very act of harnessing our breath brings focus to our mind and relaxation to our bodies. Just taking one more breath as you are. And when you are ready, just opening the windows of your eyes slowly, gently. And we begin in Dandasana, staff pose. So you'll take both legs out in front. And please feel free to use a block underneath your knees or even a pillow to support you if straight legs doesn't feel available. Grounding your hands on either side of your pelvis. And we're just awakening the legs. So drawing the toes back, engaging the quadriceps, and pressing our hands firmly into the floor as we broaden the collarbones, draw in through the core, and then bow the chin towards the chest. So energetically, the feet are working, the thighs are working, the hands are pressing, the back of the shoulder blades are active, and we're just flooding the breath in and out, up and down the spine. Please take 2 more breaths. And at the end of your exhalation, really actively scooping the belly, lifting through your pelvic floor. On your next inhalation, take your hands high, celebrating. Peace fingers are ready. And you'll bend your knees as much as you need so that you can grip your big toes with your peace fingers. On your in-breath, lift your heads, lift your hearts. And on your exhalation, just gently easing your way in any amount that feels good. So you should be able to relax into this sensation, but enough sensation that it holds your awareness. Where should you feel this? Probably mostly through the back of your hamstrings. You'll feel it across your lower back perhaps. You might even feel it a little bit behind your knees or even into your calves. Wherever you feel it, it's where you need it. And just soften it if it's too intense. One more full deep breath in and out. On the in-breath, we lift our heads and hearts. And on the exhalation, we're reaching for the outer edges of the feet if that's possible, or maintaining it. Remember, we love bent knees, so if you need to, just bend your knees. We take a breath in that helps us reestablish our posture, the length of our spine. And as we gently exhale, we find the edge that feels delightful, blissful, therapeutic in our bodies. We steady our eyes on our big toes to help us keep a little bit of extension in the cervical spine. And we're consciously drawing the feet back and using the hands to gently draw our noses just a little closer to our toes. Please take 2 more breaths. With the inhalation, a little bit of lightness. And on the exhalation, softening somewhere. One more full breath in and out. On the in-breath, we lift our heads, our hearts, times 3. We're reaching around the edges of our feet. Again, bending the knees if we can. And if that does not feel accessible, we're just holding the edges as well. You can always use a strap or even a towel just to extend your reach. So Grant's just going to demonstrate that option for you. So anything that allows us to feel more comfort in the stretch so that we can really find it to be beneficial. We don't want this to feel like a wrestling match. So we steady our eyes, we steady our breath, and we begin to really fully dwell internally, feeling the sensations of the body, and just seeing if we can allow tension to release and fade. One more full, deep goodbye breath in and out. On the in-breath, we lift our heads, our hearts, and finally, we're going to sit tall and give those hamstrings a little reprieve. So shaking out if you wish. And as we move into our next stretch, again, lots of variations. So option 1, we're going to cross the right foot above the left knee. So if this is feeling too strong in your hamstring, slide a block or a pillow underneath that left knee. Once you're here, if that's still feeling a little strong, hands behind you for support is a kind of variation. Variation 2, as Grant's doing, you're holding your foot and your knee. And then any amount that your body will allow, you're just taking up the slack. You're just moving into that place where you're feeling some delightful sensation, but nothing to the point where you're holding your breath or ever gritting your teeth. And as I mentioned before, always the option of using a strap or a towel just around the sole of the feet to extend your reach. Where could you soften? Is there any place you could let go a little bit more? Taking one more full breath in and out. On the inhalation, we lift our heads, our hearts. And on the exhalation, we'll release and give that hamstring a little reprieve. Second side as soon as you're ready. So it is your left foot crossing above your right knee, so just not right on the joint, just above it. We flex the feet to encourage a little bit more stability in the knee joints. And then we use our hands to support us if this is already feeling like the perfect option. Variation 2, hands to your knees and your foot, but reestablish your posture. And then easing your way in while maintaining the length of your spine. Hands can move to your shin, to your ankle, to your foot, using your strap if that feels best to you. Keep exploring your inner world. Keep tuning into the messages that the body is sending. So the body will speak to us in sensation. So we want to feel just a little spark, a little bit of sensation that holds our awareness, but nothing too intense ever. There's one more opportunity, one more breath here. And when you are ready, as always, the in-breath, we lift heads and hearts. And on the exhalation, we gently release. As we come into this next stretch, Grant's going to use a block. We'll all bring our right knee back, pardon me, your right foot. And if you've got a block or a cushion, you can slide it underneath your left hip. Listen, if there's any discomfort in the knee, I want you immediately just to come to this option instead. So variation 1, we could tuck the foot in. Variation 2, the block is underneath your left hip. And the heel is on the outside of the pelvis. We take the hands high, always finding length first, before we gently move into the posture. And then we're just tuning in, tapping into the awareness of our bodies. And then we are always cultivating connection back to the breath. Just one smooth, deep breath at a time. The inhalation, you'll feel expansion. And on the exhalation, you'll feel the body opening, softening just a little bit. Inhale, find a little more lightness and length. And on the exhalation, surrender and let go. One more breath. And when the time is right for you, you'll lift your head, lift your heart. And on the out breath, you'll release your stretch, removing the block, coming to the other side as soon as you're ready. So I'll spin sideways. So your right leg is long, your left leg is tucking back. Only if there's no discomfort in the knee, and you're sliding the block or your pillow underneath your right pelvis. The heel is on the outside of the hip. And once we have all of that organized, we're reaching high on the in-breath, and we're exhaling to travel forward any amount. So the hands might rest on the thigh, the shin. You might use a strap to extend your reach. All of them are wonderful, are perfect, as long as you are honoring your own body, listening to your own body. And in yoga, if you're able to breathe slowly, fully, deeply, mindfully, you are doing it perfectly. So keep fine-tuning the posture, the position, scanning the inner body, noticing where you're holding tension, and just seeing if there's places where you could let go. Creating a little bit more space, a little bit more freedom as we take one more full breath in and out. On your inhalation, the head and the heart lifts. And on that exhalation, we release and let everything go. Giving the legs a little shake, a little reprieve if we need. And as we move into our next shape, it was the one that I offered before for anyone that was having knee pain. So Janu Shirshasana A, the foot is either below or above the knee, doesn't matter. This knee could always be supported by a block if it feels like it needs some support. And you could always slide the block also under this leg. Wherever you are, perfect. And then we find the length on the inhalation. And on our exhalation, maintaining that length in our spine as we land the hands on the thigh, the shin, or reaching for your foot. If you're reaching for your foot, your wrapper is your grabber. So your right hand would go across the sole of your left foot, and it's your index finger and thumb that are binding on your left wrist. We steady our eyes on our big toes. It helps to harness the focus so we're not distracted by our surroundings or our neighbor. And that allows us to be more present within our own bodies, cultivating connection, relationship, as yoga is all about union, recreating connection to those places within our own bodies where we have maybe become disconnected. One more breath. And on your next inhale, head and hearts lift. And on the out breath, we gently release and simply come to second side. So sliding your left foot above or below your knee, it doesn't matter, but squaring the hips, squaring the shoulders, sending the hands high as we breathe in, and maintaining the length as we breathe out. It doesn't matter where your hands are. It doesn't matter if you're using a strap. Are you breathing fully? Are you present within your own body? So finding length on the in-breath, lightness, levity, and feeling a real sense of groundedness, relaxation, softness on our out-breath. Let's take two more. One more full, deep, deep breath in and out. On your inhalation, heads and hearts rise. On the exhalation, we gently release. Just two more seated postures. We're almost there. So legs are coming out long for a moment. You'll bend into your right knee. And we invite you to make sure that you've got a hand distance space between your foot and your thigh. You'll ground into your left hand for a moment. You'll energize through your left foot and your left leg. And then we reach high on the in-breath with the right hand as we endeavor to find the big toe side of the foot. So bend this knee as much as you need, as always. So in this shape, we'll use our right hand to gently pull, and we'll use our left hand to gently, gently push. Energetically hug your right knee towards your right shoulder and keep taking up slack. So the moment you feel the body just soften and open and release, just move a tiny bit deeper, but only when the opportunity arises, only when the body says, yes, please. Last 2 breaths. One more deep, expansive breath in and out. On our in-breath, lifting heads, lifting hearts, and on the exhalation, gently release to simply come to the other side. So grounding into your left foot, making sure that there's a hand distance space between your foot and your thigh. Please energize through your left foot, your left leg. Energize also through the right before sending the left arm high. We slide in between. We're reaching for the big toe. We can bend this knee as much as we need. Please deliberately stamp down into the 4 corners of your left foot, hugging your left knee to your shoulder. Pressing energetically with your right hand, pulling energetically with your left. Steady eyes, steady body, steady breath as we stay and breathe. Last 2. One more full, deep, delicious breath in and out. On your in-breath, lifting heads, lifting hearts, and on your exhalation, gently releasing. Take the legs long, give them a little shake, and I'm going to invite you to lay down now. If you've got a tubing or a strap or a towel, it'll come in very handy to do so. So gather your knees to your chest. Let's take a moment just to release the spine. So once you're on your back, we'll hug our knees into our chest and invite a gentle, gentle rocking motion from side to side. Just noticing what's sparking, what's lighting up, what is speaking to you in the back of the body, and how good it feels to finally be laying down. Please take one more deep breath, one more gentle rock from side to side, and then find your stillness. And it will be your right knee that stays with your chest as your left foot finds the floor. Once you're there, we're going to begin to extend through the right leg. And I'm going to invite Grant just to lasso his right foot. Sometimes that's the hardest part, is getting the strap around the ball of the foot. So once you're there, if you're holding onto a towel or a band, exactly as Grant is doing, if you're holding onto your hamstring and feeling like you need a little bit more, you're welcome to slide the hands to your calf. And then we're also exploring whether or not there is room with your neighbor or space in the body to begin to lengthen through your left leg. So how do we know if this is the right shape for us? We're able to relax. We're able to breathe. There's no strain in the body. We're feeling a stretch, but at the same time, we can really melt and soften through the back of the body. So please make your legs long, electric, really active, but then find that contrasting energy through the back of your head, softening through your neck and through your shoulders, and running the awareness down your spine from the base of your skull all the way to the tip of your tailbone. Where Could you soften more? And how does 2 more breaths sound to you and your hamstrings? One more smooth, full breath in and out. Stay exactly as you are for a moment with your right leg and begin to bend into your left knee. You're going to bring both legs high. And for my people with straps or towels, that is an easier way sometimes just to swap legs. So once you've got your strap, your towel safely secured, you'll begin to bend through your right knee and ground through your right foot. And then deciding where you want your hands to be, if you're holding hamstrings or calves. And then exploring the length of your right leg. You're allowed to change your mind, right? At any time, if you feel yourself tensing up, if you feel the breath getting really jagged and short, just ease away, back off a little bit, because we're always seeking a sense of balance, of softness. So this idea of equanimity. So through the avenue of our breath, bringing harmony back into the body and bringing this beautiful integrity, alignment between the mind, the body, and the breath. If you're okay, if it's feeling therapeutic, wonderful to the body, please stay for another 2 more full deep breaths. One more full breath. How smooth can you make it? And when the time is right for you, we'll bring both legs up once again. You'll remove your towel, you'll remove your strap if you had it, or you can loop over both feet if that feels possible for you. Just taking a moment here in a modified inversion, just a really gentle restorative inversion, bending your knees as much as you need. And in this position, we're also giving our circulatory system, our lymphatic system, just a little reprieve, a little love. And from here, we're coming into happy baby pose because no class is complete without a happy baby pose. So you'll bend your knees. If you have your strap, you'll release your strap. And then you'll separate your knees to begin with. So finally, something other than hamstring, hamstring and hamstring. You'll feel a little bit of adductor stretch. And this may be the most perfect option for you today. The other variation is to stand on the ceiling. And you're just holding hamstrings or calves or feet. It doesn't matter. All that matters is, how does this feel to your body? Is it feeling like it's beneficial? Are you able to release and relax and breathe? Nothing more is required. We're simply playing with shapes and building relationships with our body, our breath. So as we gently draw the hands down on the feet or the hamstrings, we gently press back. And the moment you press back, you'll feel your tailbone descending, getting heavy. And that helps to bring a little bit more length to the spine. And finally, if it feels good, just invite a gentle, gentle, gentle rocking motion, moving with your breath. Last 2 gentle movements, moving to the rhythm of you. the tempo that is calling to you. And then as you find your stillness, you'll pause, you'll release your knees back to your chest, you'll hug yourselves tightly, and then I'd like to do just one opening for the front of your hip. You're going to bring your feet wider than your mat. You'll also bring your arms nice and wide. And then in a moment, you'll begin to move your left knee open and your right knee towards the middle of the mat. So we just want to take a moment to lay a little bit of release on those hip flexors, quadriceps. So we're using the strength of our right glutes to press that pelvis towards the side. And then at the same time, we're going to turn and look down the length of our right arms. So creating just a little bit of rotation, a little bit of hip opening as we stay and breathe for 3 breaths. And when you have completed those 3 breaths, you'll return your eye gaze, you'll return your knees, and then just simply come to the other side. So the left knee is moving towards the middle of the mat, the right knee is opening, and as we open, we're pressing the pelvis, actively engaging through our left glute. And then please turn to look down the length of your left arm. You can close your eyes. Sometimes closing the eyes just allows us to really feel what the body is feeling, to listen with our inner ears to what the body is saying, and to also really hear the rhythm of our breath and maybe our own hearts. Just take 2 more breaths, embracing them with a sense of joy, maybe a sense of appreciation. And when you and your body are ready, you'll gently return back to the midline, please. If it feels like your back needs one last release, I invite you to gather the knees to your chest once again. If it feels good, a gentle rock. We're just preparing for a few moments of stillness in Shavasana, relaxation. So we ground through the feet. And if your back is sore at all, I'll encourage you to bring your knees together and leave your feet wide. But if your back will allow, you'll slide your legs long. We claim a little bit of space with our arms, with our legs. Sorry, neighbor. And then we always begin with a body scan. So a body scan just means we're looking for any place that we're holding tension. We're seeking those places that are still needing a little bit more relaxation. So using your mind's eye, using your breath, you're running your awareness down the body, beginning at the crown of the head, moving over the face, the back of the head, relaxing through your throat, the back of your neck, relaxing through your shoulders, and all the way down the lengths of the arms to the tips of your fingers. Running the awareness down the torso, feeling your ribs relax, your shoulder blades relax, and feeling your spine just softening and letting go. The pelvis opens and releases. And as you run the awareness down your thighs, just thanking your hamstrings, tuning in to see how they are feeling with all this newfound length. And then finally the back of the knees, and the knees release. The shins, the calves, your heels, the soles of your feet, the tops of your feet, and finally the tips of your toes. Allow your whole body to relax. Allow your whole being to relax. We invite you to stay for as long as your day will allow. From the bottom of our hearts and our hamstrings to yours. Namaste.